why Millennium as my banking partner. I won't talk so much about the savings. I believe the GM and the team have done a lot of that. They continue to do that. The investments as well. This varies from an individual perspective. I want to talk about what I call the blind spots. The blind spots are on coverage. There's an element of tax planning. How are you doing your tax planning? Leave alone Millennium right now. About yourself. In some markets, estates that are not well planned on tax planning, they lose almost 40% of their estate. So what are you doing? Good enough you have the resources in here. How can you leverage those resources? When we talk about transactional banking and investment banking, the investment bankers will actually cover all those elements, and actually they will make sure that they have them as revenue streams. And only when they've covered all that, they are able to make sure now they can focus on where they believe you have the strength and where they can be able to support you in terms of your aspired growth. That's the direction Millennium needs to think as you evolve. Estate planning. How would it, I'm thinking from a perspective of, if I'm a member for Millennium, if I had a single place where actually I can also do my estate planning, because I already have a certain level of trust with my banker. If I'm actually going to do my estate planning, of course, there are structures that I put in place. You, of course, need to work with lawyers on that. Can this also be a revenue stream? Absolutely, because if you want a member to work with you the entire 28,000 days, which is the average number of days a person lives, you want to make sure that you've covered all that. But let me speak to you as individuals of the Millennium. Away from Millennium, what are you doing for yourself in terms of coverage, savings, investment, tax planning, and estate planning? If you're not doing anything, I think you need to start having honest conversations on that. Estate planning, people think it is only a will. The will is the smallest part of estate planning. I'll walk you through what estate planning looks like. Each and every one of us, as we sit here, you have something to give. And there are two things. Either you give assets, you give liabilities, but you give something. Now, when we're talking about estate planning, we are saying that what you've been able to accumulate over a period of time, how are you able to make sure that you arrange it appropriately so that it can benefit the next generation? We talk about asset transfer. The question, we talked about the different asset classes. There are 5. Each of them can be transferred. The question is, when do I transfer and how do I transfer? At what point do I have a better benefit for doing the transfer? Retirement. Board chairman was talking about, I think he's about to end his tenure. Just like any institution we work for or any institution we are part of, we grow old and we ought to have a proper transition plan. And today, retirement is not only about age. Much has been restricted to age. Today, in my space where I work, I'm seeing young people retiring much earlier. But I think retirement is more or less of a mindset. It's more or less of, and each of us has a different number about that. But are we planning for it? We could be planning it for Millennium, but are you planning it for your family? Charity. We are all part of, we are giving things. Either we are part of church or we are part of lottery, we are part of whatever things we believe in. How are we doing our planning in terms of charity? Inheritance. Inheritance is a very big topic. There's always an assumption that people will figure things out. And that right there is the biggest problem for us. Inheritance is a very broad topic because children do compare with the disruption of the 5 asset classes. By the way, with all the 5 asset classes I've told you, there are different disruptions today that are happening. And I'll share that in one of the slides. But inheritance is very, very important now. Do I distribute the assets or do I distribute income? The choice is yours. But one is able to keep an estate, the other one is able to split an estate. Taxation, we cannot run away from the taxation. It is part and parcel of us. As any other economy grows, taxation becomes very, very important. And then the top area is for wills and trust. You'll notice that only the top two is where you need the lawyers or tax advisors. But all the lower areas, you need a financial advisor. And that's what I do. That's what I've been doing for the last 13 years. When you look at your estate planning, does it look like that? Or it is only in the top area where it's the trust? It's something you need to reflect on. And I believe as a Millennium SACCO, as you evolve to a bank, into maybe even private banking, these are areas that I know in other markets actually very high revenue streams for institutions like yourselves. And always there's a question of at what time should I do the estate planning? You need to do the estate planning like yesterday. Why? Because right you see here is a cycle of life. From 0 is when you're born. If you take good care of yourself, you can live up to 80. And the interesting thing is this cycle of life is only 28,000 days. And guess what? None of us has a guarantee at what time do we check out on this cycle of life. So it is very imminent that you actually do your estate planning appropriately. Now, how ready are you based on what we are sharing right now? Because I know this conversation is mainly about Millennium SACCO, but Millennium SACCO is not complete unless you members are complete. Is that right? The purpose for the SACCO is to make sure that it can make your well-being holistically within the 7 areas appropriate. That's the core basis of private banking. And that's why you see in private banking you find very few branches but very, very healthy and very, very profitable. Why? Because they are taking care of the holistic financial planning. They're not only looking at one element. So, how ready are you? Millennium SACCO has done its best. Are you doing your part? It's something for you to think about. We talked about what next, right? As I come to a close, I've been tracking this trend for the last 10 years on what has been happening in terms of the opportunities. And these opportunities are not only beneficial to the SACCO as an investment vehicle, but they're actually beneficial to you as you're doing your investments. This is as of last year. When you look at the next one, which is automobiles, which are vehicles, right? It's about 3.7 trillion. After that, you have real estate, which is about 4.2 trillion. You have financial services. That's where Millennium SACCO is playing, financial services. But you're playing on the saving component, right? What are you doing on the investment component? What are you doing on insurance? What are you doing on, the estate planning? What are you doing on all those? Those all compute close to 4.6 trillion. Then we have oil and gas, which is about 5.2 trillion. Can someone guess what's taking the lead? And as you guess, I just want to give you a background about this. When I started tracking this, the first one here, the first that was here was technology. And by then it used to be called telecom. Where is it now? The second that was actually on this list was healthcare. Is it here on this list? What has happened? It has been embedded in. What am I trying to show you? Disruption. Disruption is doing what? Then we have oil and gas. Now, in those 10 years, at some point in time, oil and gas came to be number 1. Now today, what do we have in number 1? Travel and hospitality. Which is how much? 9.25 trillion. Almost twice oil and gas. When you're actually making a perception of investment, you do not invest based on how you feel. You do not invest based on what they are telling you. It's you do it based on data. Which also takes me to Millennium SACCO. How are you leveraging data? Right? And when I talk about travel and hospitality, it is so broad. Travel and hospitality means tour and travel companies. It means hotels. Those are the large hotels, the small lodges, the motels, lodges. You know the safari lodges? They're one of the most profitable safari lodges, right? The ones in the game park. If you go to Serengeti today, they are booked 2 years. I have a client who has a lodge there, and they know they are already booked for 2 years, and minimum booking is 3 nights. Are you basing on investment based on professionals, or you're doing it on your own? And guess what? There's something that we are keeping track of that is also coming very close to this list. Can someone take a guess? No, not you. We are seeing agriculture making its place in this list. Why? Because of food security. But not every type of agriculture. And I think that's where Millennium SACCO and you as individuals need to start having honest conversations, not only maybe the AGMs, but investment forums, and getting different professionals to be able to guide you on this journey and be able to pick a number of options. One of the things, the disruptions that I can tell you, do you know why real estate is actually going down? Real estate is going down because most of its money is coming here. Most of the money from real estate, initially people used to own property and assume that actually it will automatically generate you income. But why you see real estate is going down is because the business model has changed. The big hotels that you know today don't own the hotels they run. They actually have hotel management agreements. So they do not actually do real estate. They're not locking money into real estate. Another disruption that you need to pay attention to that actually is going away from here is banking. Banking is changing. What kind of convenience are you giving your clients as Millennium SACCO? What kind of convenience are you adopting the artificial intelligence wave that is happening today? Are you adopting to make sure that you give conveniences for members to ask their loans from the comfort of their home? I don't know the last time I went into my bank because I don't need to, because they've automated everything. And that drives down your operating costs. Are you thinking in that direction? As you're scaling, as you're doing all those things, are you embedding technology into your expansion and your plans? What am I trying to show you? That as time goes, there are very many disruptions that are going to continue in all this space. The question you need to ask is, out of these, which ones are you investing in? Where is your portfolio? And do you even know your portfolio? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope I've been able to give you a perspective in terms of your financial planning journey. Have I scared you? Have I given you value? Fantastic. And I think for me that's the most important thing. And I'm glad that you now have this information. There are two things that you're going to do. Either you walk away from this AGM and go like there's nothing, or you're actually going to start to be very intentional as you're doing your financial planning. Thank you so much. I'm happy to take on any questions.
Manager yanenda kubanza ka rabyamu twena tukumanya rujungu turabize mu mudacikanje ndero ekibuzo nkachimwe bibiri ninya ndabu controlling evyo because you are fighting with time. Utabanza ukamukopa.
Mwe bari munonga amazina mwagamanya bajya mukore summary. So summary mbamwita Tony. Topic yeri izoba yeri intergenerational wealth. Nikimanyisa ki no basota kutwara omisho obugiga bwawe kurga generation yo ine muno kazanka abijikuruza nicyo yanamanyisa. Hati yanajyangu ntureba Millennium nka ekishane cyango konka hati turjo mu kishane cya Millennium turebe itwe nk'abantu itwe ntukora tuta ekishane cya Millennium yajyangu Millennium ndekora munonga already twina abantu abahika emitware 310 ba members konka kutukuba turyaho batujyangu tugambe ningashiteka te cyabugiga ebikwija umutwe nibiha abantu ababurijo ebintu ebikubija umutwe bakugira ngo ntwe nagamba abugiga ecyo kubanza noreba abintu property ecya kabiri noreba business oba ni chakara oba ni wholesale oba ni mu transport ecya kashatu equity nebeine nayo ermu equity ati nzo nka shares ezitwini Millennium niyo equity echakana commodities ebine byo kushubura abantu mukwana mushubura ebihingwa nibyo kuba noreba dena abandi nibarebera omusente ningashi cash konka nagira ngu omuntu waburijo okabire norebera muri ki iwo nko muntu twarga cha Millennium tukabe ntebera omuri kiha omuntu waburijo ashime kuba nabayine focus ningashi narebera ombintu mushanju byatugambira ecyo kubanza umuntu weno rya ashimiye kubanza yamanyangwa ine eka ningashi family yaine ndafuteka teka ahabwiga nubanza manyeka yawe erije eyemerereta ninza kugitwara zanta ninki planning ranta ecya kabiri ogendera ahamurumo gwawe imwe abine mirumo nkito bakozesa nimwe hina bakubakozesa no muri numunkozesa kandi abakubakozesa nabo bina abandi ecyo nacyo nubanza ukizaho ekindi mwino kushoma na no kwega continuous learning waguma no shoma buri izoba bikoze ibintu nibihinduka notekwa guma aho no boguma notunga amagezi go butunji echakana finance oine kurebye ntasiya yawe sente zawe zirista embarira yawe yesente ekozurweta ninga shino gitwazota echakatano community oshimiye kuba no manya abantu aborumu okuba kutwaza nemitwarize yibine ecya mukaga yateta spirituality hat spirituality niyo edini mwena okumanya na dini yanyu enchiriza yanyu then ecya mushanju namagara amagara gawe gemerire gata konke byo nabyabiri yaho heine okuyatwegesa estate planning kongata no atakagira estate planning yabanza na financial planning yiwe nko muntu yatwereze bintu bishatu ecyo kubanza yatwereza coverage ntimayisaki no kankahi itwenka sako coverage itemerereta turna kampari twati ntimayisa ngo ikintu kirumu konkati wano planning ebyawe coverage yawe nebemerereta ecya kabiri okusavinga no saving ota echakashatu investment kandi no zazota ninga shino investing ota sente zawe coverage ebirimo byo kureba niki ecyo kubanza no reba life ninga magara echakabiri no reba no basa kube kimuga wano reba omukinde kikwatiye na coverage worye kimuga disability insurance ye kwasa kuba ne kuyamba muri yeki ekindi critical illness hari umuntu kurwara mwe akahwayo konkate cyo nacyo covering wa insurance then savings hari mu investment funds harimu short term na long term. Short term funds ni nkezi loan zezimu kuba ningashi nka unit trust mwana muzimanya mwana musavingamu ninga wano fixing anitwe ejo niyo short term konka long term nizo nkeza shares ezimwine. Investments tureba shares, tureba bonds, tureba treasury bills, then tureba commodities nebyo kushubura, then no kureba ebintu between nka amaju na yes amaju mainly, then na cash eitwine. Then yaheza yatushomesari estate planning. Estate planning ni kibanyisa ki omuntu obutunji bwayine nabasa ataku kuburekaho bukagumiza ma generation endijo kandi bukabura kwaho no bwaburumu. Estate planning yine bintu nkabitano. Ine asset transfer haro kwa ine bintu akabihereza abana be niyo akabihereza abantu. Hariho retirement. Woine estate planning no planning la retirement yawe neyemerire abamu murimo no retiringa atoshanga nebyo ine nda kubiguza ngo zo mu business hata ibintu babitakora nkibane cyenda o planning je kare. Harimo charity atari abantu bomba bine bintu ore yabikwata yabima ko mwana we yabimpereza nkanyi abo kugira ngo yankunda ningashi yashanga abantu enshoberwa yabahereza ningashi yazo mu kanisa yahereza abantu. Then ekindi harimo inheritance niyo mu omuntu okusikira ebintu ebyebi kandi yaiza yatugambira aha opportunities ezuruhwati ombirobu ni business ki opportunities ezurumu abantu abingi opportunities eziri ziyo mu technology ebya karmagezi real estate ebyo kuzomu kugura mataka no kugura amaju mukaguza mukombeka financial systems ningashis yes nizonkezi za SACCOs na banks. Then twine oil and gas omunamo hariyo esente. Then twine travel and hospitality ejeje niyo kwatsira kati kandi yatugira ngo ine trillion mwenda ya business hata ina abuza itwe nka SACCO twashitamire nka board tukareba itwe ntubasta tutakutapinga muri yeki ninga tujyo mugabaroni zukonka tukakomaho. So nayenda ngu nka SACCO tushitame nitwe twekore mu murumo tutanike ku investingo mbintebi ebyatugambira ebintu mushanju kandi natworeka ngo mu travel and hospitality harimo kaza lodges harimo transport ya to example ya Serengeti ngo abantu bagirizeho nabandi kuza yatokizayo. So omo harimo sente ezikubasa kutuyamba. So natwe hanangiriza nka SACCO tureke guma omuroni zonka na shares kureka tuzombindi ebikwasa kuturezentasya ebiri short term na long term. Yahendera kubuza ngo ibi yabagambira yabatinisiriza mwamwetegereza yabongeraho ineki yabongeraho ahamagara ganyu no kuyabashomesa mwe bari munonga.
Ebuzo bishatu byonka Bishop Gasatura Dr. Bitekerezo nimbasa kureka bukwa no buze bugumire munonga kama nze ndebe nyuma wastamina noko konke mkono yawo buramwe ntwaza ko muko chance narebe gundi mukono Bitekerezo nondijo muntu.
I'll ask my question in English since the presenter primarily presented in English. First, two quick questions. You talked of the various assets, and there was human asset, and that's my area, not so much finance. But I did not see anything to do with human partnerships, human networks, and strategic linkages. Hariho umuntu wagize ngo ruhanga ko abantu ruhanga ko ubuntu bukwa abantu bakwe bintu we n'abantu no we n'ubwiga. So yes, I saw some of those ones, I appreciate, but in terms of Millennium SACCO, in terms of our founding patron, who is an international figure, my brother, how are we leveraging those human assets? Ekyakabiri quick one. Mbarara has become a city. And this is our launching pad. And Hoto Atandi Chiri. How are we leveraging this city status as a financial institution? At least a quick one that I thought of, I am also a project person, is to buy land assets. There are strategic areas that are going to be industrial parks and blah, blah. While even the house might lose or depreciate, land is always appreciating. Even Empire State Building in New York is built on land. Thank you.
Dr.
I'm going to make some comments as a past leader here. One of the reasons we are having, you man, you don't know what you have done for me today. I drove in the morning from Kampala. The bishop told me to come to listen to you, and I came. I am a bit older than you because I'm 56 years old. Comrades, one of the reasons we are having, we have property, and when we die, bishop, and even the richest guys inside here. One of the reasons why we're having this challenge is failure to manage real estate. Through either putting these things in trusts or writing some very good wills that cannot be challenged, or chimara kufabana umwana gwisaka gwe akwate sente za wazitaro mukacha zina dansi aliyempunu chwano kushaba orondo muntu wabere nateje kamba rogwire buriya oronda batabana babura oronda bishi babura uyebuza ona cyo musomo tuyakora twakara hanga tuyamukambira. For me, I think, Bishop, that is very important. Point number 2. Bishop, nani mkushawanko muntu. Because nyono mani mkurata nyonyo mwichiriza. Oichirize, hii nekaniso kushumahali ya oyote oka roji ka competing in a Lake View Hotel. Bataka kubiha, ngote hama dukataka kuza kukora sente, we need a hotel in some part of the land which I know, we are soon dividing. In between Lakeview, I think I hotel hali totaro. No akwata achiranka hachizimbe chiri munanke chiri mu JMS. Bishop Power hotel hali hano. Kuchira kuleme abala kuzombichere yobaba lihomu obate baliho nyona bigamba yose yagira ngo mbagambire nabagambire. Ikindi nyona heze nyona.
Na tagament Bishop Tibitecherezo naza kuteganisa kare wabigamba wayorekwa owakashatu no shayabura katubanze tunge answers for those. I hope you understood the nyankore.
Yeah, yes. One more question? Okay, great. Thank you.
Respond to those.
Okay, thank you so much. I think starting with the question of the human assets. The human assets, how you leverage it, and I was speaking from a perspective of Millennium. I was speaking from that perspective because for me, 31,000 is already a big number. It's more than a good number. So how can you scale it to be productive? How do you monetize it? Okay. Now, for social networks and all that, it's all part of human assets. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Katio there has so much money.
Yes.
Can we deal? People don't seem to deal. They all go there and come up.
Oh, okay. Oh, how? I agree. Yes, I think Abajo has a challenge. The board has a very big challenge. We'll be happy to support. There are very many initiatives you can do. Very, very many initiatives. Because like you said, the numbers are everything. If you can actually leverage the numbers, there's a lot you can do. Yeah. So I hope I've been able to give clarity on that. Okay. And thank you so much.
I think it was a supplement.
Yes, a supplement.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Time is over. Time is over. Time.
Yes.
I was saying, can we invest in land so we can sell it back when Barara system goes out?
Okay. Let me emphasize that. You see, there's always an assumption that land appreciates. But land can depreciate. How can land depreciate? People can sit in parliament, right, and make a decision which can actually affect. I'll give you an example. 10 years ago when you're buying land, you didn't need a TIN number. You didn't need most of the documentations you need today. But today, you need a TIN number, and by the one of the laws that wants to come is they actually need a tax clearance. So if I'm buying 100 million from you, I need to have a tax clearance, which shows that the 100 million I'm using to buy, it was fully paid for taxes. So all those things are actually going to impact real estate. That's why you see it's actually dropping. It's getting away from, it's actually dropping very fast. So the conversation of whether we should continue to invest in land. I'll also give you another example of what's happening globally. The big malls that you're seeing today are being disrupted today because everything you need, you can get it from Amazon. Or Jumia today, if you need anything. So what is actually making a lot of, in the Middle East and in the US right now, is warehousing space. So it's no longer the commercial building. And by the way, most commercial buildings, I had an opportunity to work in Hong Kong. When I used to work there, the occupancy rate then, the square rate per square meter was higher than New York. But today, all the properties, because Hong Kong was handed over to mainland, occupancy, the highest occupancy I've seen for some of the clients we have there is 38%. Many property owners here don't access the occupancy rate. So it is very rare when you have a property that has 100% occupancy. So what am I trying to say? Look at your portfolio, spread it correctly, do not be over-vested in one area with an assumption actually you're going to be able to appreciate. Thank you so much, Millennium SACCO.
Mr. Tony Mchantukwebaza, abokushemesa kuwa tukorera. It is our responsibility kushemesa ba members bitu. Kandi omushijo ogu omu accountability tumushashwiri at donating through the bishop. So ite twiro mazima tukwenda ngo spending ngo tukaspending emitwara 5 tukumuhiring. Pro twamujira ngo tumusime akuntu tuba twamugurira range. Thank you so much. Ndukuzari agenda hazamu abantu bakuru abomfite kwanjura okubanza meya witu akerye tara ati yagicoho yakora side mirror obabyona kabirekaho ubwo mushiza mu mutero mu ngaro abiraine orukiko konka nko muntu mukuru mutawuno kuzamu nk'icyo kintu atakirebire nambwe no kajoininga kubiyo ine mu bushe yabuce ntwenda ngo temwe kintu kingi abantu bakwa karuru bakwa financial support akaruru no kasingo tarebire nyuma kandi omuzindaro nkagukwerezo ine mushe yazinche mbene hati ogonumeya ngo bamuha karuru leta ka boxe shahe gitukuteremo obubiki ntwakwakira webare kandi okugambire ngo ino rukiko time kwera hike please we have recognized your presence kandi ekintu ekiningira no blessing. Thank you so much. Ukono muntu mukuru utakagenda tamwanjiri nahuraho representative wa RCC izina ryanye baho kace kanu kamwine na RCC konga yatsindikira. Mr. Muganda, thank you, you are most welcome. Mwena abantu abekinkubanjura no kugira government koragana nayo kandi twabaro ntumanyisa ngo kintu kitukora kiri mu mateka. So I cannot keep them down. Kandi tuinoho na city commercial officer omushizo bakweta arani kandi omushizo oguno atuyamba woti ino muntu ogunangwa no byakwandika ka report akachaka kasindika kampara mbat closing. Arani webare konka abana bakamano bakamabe konka arani wenu weteke no person okutu pushinga kureba ngo ministry nabo na government to rating aje abandi niza kubanjura time kwera abeho konka munchirize nabwe ingarake nsloting mu one important thing nyowe na bishop twichirizana to recognizing mzee witu one of the founder members Canon Mugisha omuntu ogu he has invested so much. Mbeni tuenda kumurukoganizing before you nabantu za kubakira konka mbeni yangira ngo amana na mache mureke tumurukoganizing ya hara feelingire mbeni you can come in front kwato mungaro omushijo ogu abenanye tagira tokoroti omukure bintu nibitambara tubetwine strong pillars. You can come in front. You can come in front to recognizing arahagira amana make ariyo myaka 9 na ngahera ari 9 na gumwe kandi akana acuvuga imotoka ko ngati ninjya atakivuga abe bisha katsinduke tuba mtere bishana so mwebare mnonga kano nwebare obuhabuzi bwawe na support ibintu bya banka tuba kubigamba tukagamba detail but is a strong pillar. When tukarika program hatunaza kuachira reading of previous minutes and confirming them. In the interest of time, injakusha secretary witu ngwa atusomere action paper akatabona ntaka karebe minutes nzibasa kubaza rumwe full konka minutes zurumu konka mwen for interest of time shome action paper twatobwire mbwenu twazo minutes zona bitsa kutwarubwire ijaha abantu mbenda kurira karyabo.
Webare chairman have been introduced banyita Madrin Makuru and board secretary. Action paper immediately after the minutes. Action paper for annual general meeting held on 21st of March 2024. Number 1, dormant accounts. This was from minute 4 of AGM 2023. The annual general meeting resolved to have dormant accounts reactivated. Tukaragirwa ngo dormant accounts zibe reactivated nanga zigaruke zikore. Eji responsibility tukajikwasa management. Management ekachikwasa ba staff, buri staff bamuha target, abantu baterwa amasimu kandi enyingi zabire reactivated. Number 2, career financial literacy, and this was according to minute 6. The annual general meeting approved to have financial literacy for the members. Ogomurmo kakwasibwa general manager kandi kozurwe ntugumiza mu gukora. Number 3 was on purchase of SACCO assets. Echikakwasibwa finance committee reporting negira alternative investments have been done and the SACCO is earning some profits from these assets. Kugamba mnonga ryeki assets zo zikagurwa tukagura nkitaka ryaguzubwa twakoraho amagoba kandi ne sente zimwe tukaziteka tukazinvestinga in some other financial institutions. Number 4, approval of new votes. This was according to minute 7. It was assigned to the finance committee. As the votes zikaba approved, kandi zikakozesebwa. Number 5 was loan recovery. The annual general meeting emphasized recovery of loans or recovery of bad loans. Ekyo kikakwasibwa finance committee kandi amani mingi gatirweho ku recoveringa sentezi, court brokers, bailiffs and lawyers bona tubagerizeho kandi na cases enyingi zikiryo mu koti ko chairman yaba yatugambiri. It is still a challenge, but we are believing for the best. Then number 6 was sharing of dividends for the year 2023 using the pro rata method. Ekyo kikakorwa dividends zikashashurwa ezindi zaba capitalized into shares. Dividends were credited on people's accounts on 6th of April 2024 and the pro rata method was used. Pro rata nemanyisa ngu buri muntu akashashurwa kurigirira ahe sente zabire zizira. Then number 7, budget for 2024. The annual general meeting approved the budget for 2024. The budget was approved and implemented. Then we had, number 8 was approval of new policies. The new policies included the following: fraud management policy, the conflict of interest policy, risk and compliance policy, whistleblowing policy, the sexual harassment policy, assets and liability management policy. As policies zonas zikaba approved kandi nuzikora. There was the issue of SACCO lawyers. According to minute 10, the annual general meeting approved Swaya Matovu and company advocates and Twinama Skagaba advocates to work on the SACCO lawyers. They are still working and they are doing a good job. Then there was this issue of the external auditor. According to minute 11, the annual general meeting approved GMAT and partners, led by CPA Jack Mwebaze, to work as the external auditor for Millennium SACCO. They were approved and they are working. There was the issue of maximum liability. According to minute 12, the annual general meeting approved 4 billion as maximum liability for the year 2024. This was on standby. It was not used, but it was helpful because we knew it was there, but we had enough funds. Thank you for listening to me.
Webare secretary ahabwa report yawe detail on mza kushangwa minutes yo mkitabo abo bwire muri Kenya chire supervisory committee report yes SIPCO chairman Reverend Ayaza. Reverend. Takuteka nsamu hero ka auditinga kubi. Mzinda. General Manager.
Report indukuza kubahereza. Nanyazire ngo tushome kumwe twatanise aha page ya 36 mu butabo bwo tukoresa kandi ubutugenda nabwo n'ingengenero y'izoberi izina ryanjye ndi Venerable Reverend Apollo Twetise ahabwe imbabazi za Ruhanga akozire nka chairman wa SIPCO obwiro bw'emyaka 8. Our Lord the Bishop, guest of honor, chairman of our board, let me say all protocol observed. Ni ntwaro mu gishogo kubanza kwanjura abamemba b'akakiko ka SIPCO ahi nyowe mbendi chairman kandi nyina abantu b'abakugu babiri abimbene nkoragana nabo Professor Nixon Kamukama atabaha kana n'umwami na John ayemeriraho nuko tubasize kora umurimo kumwe abantu abo mbatera mu ngaro abo kwatanise twakora umurimo muhango munonga. Nyenda kubagambira nkamandeti yitwe tushemeye kuba tukirize nyenda kubamanyisa ngo tugikozirege munonga ahabwo kuba turebere mikorre ya board yitu tuhagumuza mutuhareba emikorre ya management kandi abantu abo bakozirege umurimo gwabo nambwenu abo mwaka gwe 2024 nyenda kubamanyisa ngo umurimo gwabo bakozirege munonga mbatera mu ngaro. Ecya kabiri cya kashatu nyenda kugamba scope ahita ibintu koma nka SIPCO umurimo ogutubintu kora nambwe no gutuhendireje ahabero 31 bya December 2024 nyenda kubagambira ngo branches zitu zona tuzirabire mutu hasi rambura kandi hariho ezitwahita outreaches tukarambura outreach ya Kitwe, twarambura outreach ya Nyamarungi, twarambura outreach ya Bugamba. Ezi body ya Gizirengu urukiko twargira ha AGM batwanjurire ezo tukashanga hariho office erukurebeka kandi hariho na n'umukozi abakozi babiri bashatu abakwakira ba clients every day. Kandi branches nka Kakamba na Rwansinga ezo nibijaho obunakubuke omusande bakire mpiha konko kurgira okuturebere omyanya ejo na munonga nka Kitwe, Nyamarungi na Bugamba twenda kushaba delegates abo kurgoko mutemwa manu kureba ngo branches outreaches za ba branches abo kwa twashanga ntihetago buhereza bwinji kandi twashanga imyanya yegera hare na main branches atweteka ngo zo branches zagumiza outreaches zagiramani omurimo gwa Millennium SACCO n'ugendo misho. Kandi nanyenda kubagambira ekindi aha namba ya kana compliance nyenda kubagambira ngo SACCO yitu okurigirije bukushabwa board members na management rwabishikiriza kureba ngo SACCO yitu abirigena bagira ngo eri ha mustari kureba ngo nekoraje kane twazibwaje. Namba ya katano nkoku twashoberwa minutes tugezeyo kuringurizayo oko nayo tufikayo tushangire ngo minutes okutukuzensa abantu bazishikiriza nabo mbatera umungaro omukashonshode cyako. Namba ya mukaga turebere eyibakweta ngo growth and performance. Asset base ko kurebaho abantu abargire last year tukashanga twine billions 2.7 konka hati twasiya billion 3.2 nyenda kubamanyisa ngo SACCO yitoriyo ne yokoraje munonga mwetera umungaro ba member. Twareba ahantasya revenue okurga last year utwayoture 3.9 billion hat to 5.5 billion akomuka collecting hoje it was a typing error, it is 5.5 billion Uganda shillings. Bwene cyo nacho mukitero umungaro the performance is wonderful kandi cyo kigerezeho kubaje ahabwo kubana bagendera aha budget lines. Human resource 6.2 nkoku mwamanyisibwa twina abakozi 91 abashaija males 89 females 82 kandi abo kiretire umurimo gwagumizamu kwiyaho nkoko ibintu bikugenda nibitunguka day by day twenda tushaba abakozi abo kugumiza muno bashoma to the extent kureba ngo ba competinga na nobu nakubwizoberi. Expansion and growth nkoko twabagambire branches twine tushaba ngo habaho okushomana no kwetegerezibwa emyanya erikwetaga kongerwa mu branches zongerwemo abo kwa abantu bamukama nibenda obuhereza omyanya ejo kutugumiza mutwaza page ya 38 nyenda kwamanyisa assets za SACCO twine bikwetagisa byona omuringo gwona kureba ngo asset yitu SACCO yitu negumizamu kandi namba ya mukagaro performance 6.5 nyenda kwamanyisa ngo loans zitu ziliyoni zigendo misho okugera board okwekora konka nyenda kubamanyisa ngo tukine muna n'abanyaki up to now nko twagambire abantu habo kuba kwetera umucuba obundi tukareta twagumiza kandi kubaho baretera amagoba gitu gatuba eza kubeneze baganwa oshangaziri umukunyagwa bwento enda kubashaba ngo performance yongereho. Membership twagigambaho reporting nayo ntugireba okweri ebintu byitu bitebekanisibweje nambwenu kuna kwendera genda kusima munonga umureberezi witu obagama nka senior manager marketing manager tukoriro mu murungi kandi atwebembireje umureberezi mutero umungaro munonga genda kusima board abatukozire nabo na no kusima kachiko kinkostanise nako kureba ngo mu mugu gwagendaje aha muheru in my conclusion nyenda kwashaba kureba ngo SACCO yagumye mwe bari kutwereza omugisha gwo kusavinga ni mwe emyaka 8 eyitu basize kandi no kushaba bari kwija ombigere byitu kurengo mu mugu gwagumzamu ntubendeze mbabazanya muhanga mukama witagume nimwe bya signinga venerable reverend Apollo Twetise chairman wa Sopiko njwe kiraka chiko kona. Thank you for listening to me.
Weba kuba tukoratiro oku obundi bashanga tukozire kubi mwentu mwabiyehurira hatumwaziterore hatumutirire ba board izo kandi ya meeting na janta abantu batukorofayinga kunoya omurujungu rwa kamase yindarashemeyenga accounts nkukora qualified biri wago mwe nabantu batudisqualifyingira abo hatunanye tanche kwego rujungu abo kugira ngo ninyebembera SACCO. So mwenu twaza kuza omuherese break kandi omuherese breakage ntwena ngutungire mu kachayi twine mu abantu bakuru ubundi yasigatanywire ningachi twena ngututunga akachayi na ninshabangu tubikore omu short time sabanza na bishop na mjenyi mukuru then abandi nibakumamba kuimisa kwena ngutakrawdinga. General manager come and take over this shortly onyumisi abantu mpora kugira ngo tahenda na konka wano uyu musi yakamba njura abantu abatu yotandiko yumsi chai twenda kushaba okay nani jangu bachikavaringa bishop kanoni chizinduka
katushabe kamarhanga ori rukwera ushemire tukusima aitwahika mwene watebekanisiza cyukunywa n'cyukurya tukushengerezo byezo biherezo mugisha turabiriye twanywa tutunja amana gugumiza mutukora umurimo gwawe kandi mukore yabitebekanisa nayo cyo mugisha iyo Kristo mukama wetu.
Webare mwene aba bamba agenda kambi mchiza abajenya bayija
nsa kubanza tushabe board members na invited guests baba nibo babanza kuyija
abajenyi kamba njire bwanyuma nanye mbanze ntunge chikopo chachayi
abandi mbe mushitami twine serving points sina kandi buri kibonye sawugendaje nshabangu entebezi zigende na bishop abandi mbe mushitami mboreke eiturazi okwe mwatora tuho mashija nanishanga abandi mbe mushitami kandi nareba ngo aba bahaba Chairman.